Imagine waking up tomorrow and every dollar that you earn is yours to keep. No credit cards, no loans, no worrying about checking your banking app to make sure that you have enough money in your account until the next time you get paid. That's what life feels like whenever you're debt free. Yet most people don't truly understand this until they actually get there themselves. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over some of the things that I have noticed since I became debt free. Now, full disclosure, when I talk about being debt free, I'm talking about being free from consumer debt. Now, my wife and I, we still have a mortgage that we're working extremely hard to get paid off as quickly as possible. Now, the very first thing that I noticed when I became debt free is that every single dollar in my paycheck was mine to keep. I mean, yeah, we have money that we set aside every single month that goes towards our mortgage so we can get that paid off as quickly as possible. But other than that, there's no other payments. I mean, yeah, we use credit cards, but we pay them off in full every single month. So we don't ever carry a balance. But every single dollar that we each make from our jobs, we get to spend on whatever we want. And we have those things allocated in the ways that we spend them, but we're not really worried about on a month-to-month basis about money. We have a very easy budget that we've implemented a long time ago, and it's like second nature at this point. We don't even think about it. Everything is kind of on autopilot, but I can't tell you the feeling that I had whenever I got my paycheck and I realized that the only thing I have to do is allocate X amount of dollars towards my mortgage, and then everything else is mine to do whatever I want. Whenever we get to a point to where we've completely paid off our mortgage, that's when I'm really gonna feel like I can flex being completely debt free. And if it's anything like I'm feeling right now, I can't wait until I get to that point. The second thing that I noticed is that my stress levels have went down substantially. Now, those people that know me the most may not be able to tell from the outside looking in because I'm a type A type of personality and I'm always on the go, go, go. But when it comes to just lifestyle, living my life, I don't really have much stress about finances. I have a solid plan in place that I've been following for quite some time, and I believe that I have the right plan that's going to get me to my goal. That's not to say that my entire life is 100% stress-free, but worrying about money, worrying about when we're going to be able to pay this bill, worrying about if a bill is going to be late or there's some kind of debt that's out there that's going to cripple us, that's going to take us a really long time to pay off, those are not the things that I worry about. See, whenever you have debt, it's always in the back of your mind. It's always there, and you're always worried about what are you gonna have to do to get to a point to where you can get that paid off. I've talked a lot about being in debt on my channel in my 20s, right up to around my 30s, where I had a lot of consumer debt. I was buying a bunch of things that I didn't even need to impress people that I didn't even like. And it got to a point where it was exhausting. So once I got myself out of debt, I made a promise to myself that I would never put myself in consumer debt ever again. And since that time, I've never put myself in a position to where I had debt that was going to take me an extremely long period of time to pay off. The third thing that I noticed since I became debt free is I can take bigger risk. So let's start from the job perspective. I'm never going to work a job where I'm completely stressed out and I don't want to be there. Early on in my career, I worked in the pharmaceutical industry, and that was a job that just drained everything out of me every single day. I had so much debt. I had a young family. I had bills that I had to pay, and it made me stay into a situation that really wasn't healthy for me from a stress or a mental well-being perspective. But I hung in there. I did what I needed to do. And once I got myself out of debt, I was able to move on from that job, and I've never looked back. Being debt-free allows us to make different job and career choices that fit our overall needs and our lifestyle. You're no longer solely working a job just based on the pay, because I can tell you there are some jobs out there that pay a lot of money, but they make you extremely miserable. You work a lot of hours, you never get to see your family, and that's probably not the lifestyle that most people want to live. I don't mind working hard. I don't mind working late. But whenever you add in unnecessary stress and unhealthy levels of stress, then that's when things start to go sideways. Being debt-free also allowed me to try my hand at real estate. Now, after I got into that, I realized that's not something that I really wanted to pursue long term, but it allowed me to do it. I made some money. I was able to use that money to invest, and I got a lot of good experience from working in that field. It wasn't always about the money for why I got into real estate. I wanted to understand how housing markets work, what are the best areas and locations in a new city that I lived in, and being able to actually sell real estate for about 4 years helped me to do that. And that's just a few things that being debt-free allowed me to do from a job/career perspective. I was also able to flip a condo down in Atlanta with one of my friends that I've known since childhood, and I never would have been able to do that if I had debt that was sucking away my resources and my capital. The fourth thing that I noticed since becoming debt-free is I don't have to live where I don't want to live. And what I mean by that, if I ever get to a position to where I need to find a new job or I want to find a new job, there's nothing that's restricting me to staying in the current city that I'm at. Now, I do have a daughter that's in high school, and I would not want to move her to a new school, especially during her high school years. But once she graduates, there's virtually nothing that would stop us from relocating to whatever city we would want to move to next. You want to talk about freedom? To me, that's freedom. I can go wherever I want to go, and I don't have to be dependent on a job or a company that I'm working at. And I can't tell you how many people I know that are living in a city that they don't want to live in, but they have to because of their job or the types of jobs that they have or they want or they need based on their income are only in these particular cities. There's nothing wrong with wanting to work for more money. I absolutely encourage that. But the question is, are you working for more money to be able to do the things that you want to do? Or are you working for more money because you have to pay for the things that you previously purchased that you probably don't even have anymore? My guess is that it's the latter. The fifth thing that I noticed since becoming debt-free is I have a lot more money to invest. So my wife and I, we both invest in our corporate sponsored 401ks, and we both have multiple brokerage accounts that we invest in as well. And that's not something that I was able to do in my late 20s and in my early 30s because so much of my money was tied up on a bunch of bullshit that I didn't even need. See, right now, I'm so focused on being able to get to a point in my life financially that whenever I'm ready to hang it up, and my health is there, God willing, that we can virtually do whatever we want. And to be quite honest with you, when I'm investing in the market, it's great to see the market go up, right? But for me, it's almost like a game. I've been investing for so long that it's like second nature to me. The money goes into those accounts and I don't even worry about it anymore. It's there for the long term, and it's there to supplement my corporate sponsor 401k whenever I retire so I can do whatever I want to do and not have to worry about money. So whenever you're debt free and you can invest more money into your financial future, as well as have money to spend on what you want to do in the now, it's a game changer, and it's a great feeling that so many people unfortunately will not be able to experience because we value things over being patient. The next thing that I noticed is that you have more money to spend on experiences. Every year, my family and I, we go on a very nice vacation and we're not so worried about the price. Now, we're not spending $10,000 or $15,000 on a vacation, but we always go to a really nice destination and we enjoy ourselves, and we're never worried about how much we're spending while we're traveling. Everything is pre-planned. We have the money set aside to do that. And right now it's just for the experiences. As we get older and our kids get older and they go on and they live their lives, we want to make sure that we have really good family experiences that we could look back on. And to be quite honest with you, whenever I was younger, we never took vacations. We didn't have the money to take vacations. So I always wanted to put my kids and my family in a position to be able to do all of the things that I couldn't do whenever I was younger. And I'm so glad and I'm so happy that I've been able to do that for my family. And it would have never been something that I could have done had I kept up those old habits that I had whenever I was younger. And then the last thing that I noticed is that I just sleep better and I'm more at peace. It's really hard to explain what I'm talking about unless you are actually in this position. Whenever I lay my head down at night, the only thing that I'm really worried about is my health, my family's health, my friends' health, and just hoping that my next day is better than my last. I can't tell you how good it feels to not always worry about money, debt piling up, bills, getting my car repossessed. I mean, all of the things that a lot of people have to think about on a daily basis. I can't tell you how good it feels to not ever have to worry about that. And no, I'm not making this video to brag and talk about how much I have or I have so much more than the next person. I'm making this video in the hopes that it will really inspire someone to actually get on their grind, get on their hustle, and do their thing so you could experience the same thing that I'm talking about. Guys, I could have named 10 to 15 additional things in the ways that my life have changed since becoming debt-free from a consumer perspective. But I just really wanted to highlight some of the top ones that I've been able to experience from my perspective. Now, I know that a lot of you guys have left me comments. Some of you guys have talked about how you're debt-free. Leave a comment down below. What are some of the things that you've experienced since you become debt-free? And then on the flip side of that, leave a comment down below. Have you started your journey to becoming debt-free? If so, how long has it been and how much longer do you have to go? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.